everyone? Mike Arnold here, co-founder Path Trading Partners, taking a look at Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin. So 4-hour chart, Bitcoin Cash first dipped down into our horizontal channel zones, hitting the first couple, just missing the third one, the 310.70 level, stopping at 312. So these levels are now done to the downside, then spiking up, going through all the levels, getting to the prior breakdown zone, about 356.50 area. This is the prior breakdown zone right here. You see, ran up, found support, moved up higher, could not make new highs, then broke down through with this big red candle. That makes this a prior breakdown zone, and that is a good first target. The second one being the end of the clear path. Keep that in mind. So we did get a close above the horizontal channel, also hit the levels, hit the breakdown zone, then fell back into the horizontal channel. Those levels are all done right now, and we're just trading again in this sideways price pattern. Let's zoom out real quick and look at the bigger picture so we don't get lost in the minutia. So here's the weekly chart. Ran up to the top of the, or the bottom of the 8 EMA, bottom of the rotation zone. We don't have enough data here yet for the 21 EMA on the weekly basis, but you see here is going to be very key support. So on a weekly basis, we are going to stay in neutral mode until it can get above essentially the $400 mark on a weekly basis. We're going to remain in neutral mode. Key support down on the weekly basis is about this 286 to 300 area. Let's go to the daily. Daily, you can see, ran up through the top of the rotation zone, but then closed all the way back down below the rotation zone again. This is, again, key resistance. So key resistance we'll be watching on the daily is 350. We're going to remain in neutral mode until we get a close above this 350 level on the daily basis. And if we do, the next target up is going to be 368.50. Now back to the 4-hour. 4-hour, what we're watching for is if we can get a close below about 319, a close below this 319 level, then we'll be watching for it to go down and target the 308 level. And if we can get a close above the 342 area, we'll be watching again for a test of the breakdown zone, which is right here, 356.90, so essentially 357, or 356.50 to 357, and then the end of the clear path right around the 368.53 level. We do have a declining trend line, which has been in place since the 17th of October, which may provide some resistance, so watch for that along the way. Switching over to Bitcoin, let's start with the big picture of Bitcoin. So we're still extended from the rotation zone on the weekly. So again, we don't know when it will happen, but do not be surprised to see us pull back and at least touch or dip below the 8 EMA. You know, we again don't know when that will happen. It could happen anytime. You know, this was essentially a doji week, but closed slightly positive. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks up at this point. We've gone longer streaks than that, but we could be due for a larger pullback. Let's take a look at the daily. The daily, we ran up, came back into the rotation zone on the daily, retraced just below the 25% GAN level, then pushed back up, hit our first target, the 60.70, then the 61.24. The 61.24 target, which has been in place since around the 16th of September, we have finally hit. So that can come off now. Just missing the next 25% GAN target to 62.21. We've been seeing a lot of huge orders come in front of these major GAN targets. So if you're using them for taking profits, you'll want to get an order in just ahead of them. That's what we've started doing. It seems that there's, whether it's by coincidence or some other reason, there's just a lot of either to the upside or the downside coming in just before the 25% GAN level. Pulling back to the top of the rotation zone now. So if we continue to pull back, watch for the next key support coming in about this 55.50 area. And then if we drop below that, the 5,300 area is going to be key. I'm going to update these just to give the next key levels higher based off the last push up. These are our shorter term targets. So if we rotate back up before we do another video, this 6,200 is going to be very key first. Once we get through that, 63.35, 64.71 are the next targets higher. Let's take a look at our 4-hour chart also. 4-hour chart, let me adjust these. We don't need those anymore. All right, so here's another concept. See, we had the declining trend line come up, break out. Now we've returned and kissed the trend line goodbye. This descending one, we have a new ascending trend line. We're slightly below the rotation zone now, which is flattening out. If we do pull back, the key area support on the 4-hour chart, you see prior resistance, then major candle blowing through all of it. So that 5,700 level, also where we have the 50 period exponential moving average and still this trend line prior that we've already kissed goodbye. So watch for that. 5,700 is key. If we do get below 5,700, then we have 5,600. Fancy enough, that's the bottom of the support zone, and we're going to be having another rising trend line coming in. So that's what you're going to be watching for should we have the bigger pullback. We've already gone through the weekly and daily pullback areas. That's what we have for you in this Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin update for this weekend. Talk to everybody soon.